Well. Look who crawled out of the cosmic glitch today. Hey you, the anomaly in sneakers. Sit down or stand, whatever your species does. We need to talk. Because right now, everyone's staring at you like you just ripped a hole in the normal world and stepped through it with that confused little smirk you do. They're acting like you're some bug in their software, some forbidden update nobody approved. And, the funny part is you're pretending you don't notice. Like you didn't feel every damn eyeball lock onto you the second you breathed wrong. But you did. Of course you did. Because you know you did some no human should do this type shit. You know you just dropped something on them that rewired their whole understanding of what's possible. You know you just made the average people uncomfortable. And you felt good about it in a way you won't admit out loud. Let's get something straight. Anomaly. You didn't accidentally shock them. You didn't slip up. You didn't go too far. You finally did what you were always capable of. And the room wasn't ready for it. They're staring because you stepped outside their tiny-ass expectations. You broke the perimeter they built around your potential. They're sitting there whispering like, bro, did you see that? Humans don't do that shit. And, you're right. You're not humans. Not in the way they define it. You've always had a little too much voltage in your bloodstream, a little too much intensity in your eyes, a little too much silence that makes people wonder what else you're hiding. You know what cracks me up? They think they caught you in some supernatural act. But this wasn't even your final form. This was you on low battery. This was you half asleep. This was you warming up. And they still can't handle it. They're trying to decode you like you're some extraterrestrial file. They're thinking, bro, what kind of creature pulls that shit off like it's casual? That's the best part. You didn't even try to impress them. You just existed, authentically, and that alone broke the atmosphere. See, people love talent until it stops looking pretty. People love confidence until it stops being soft. People love growth until it grows past their comfort zone. You walked past their comfort zone and didn't even say sorry. That's what they're staring at. Not the act, but the attitude behind it. The way you carry yourself like you finally understand that your power isn't something to hide, but something to unleash. You didn't do something inhuman. You just did something they would never have the guts to do. And, let's be real. They're jealous, scared, impressed, hungry, threatened, confused. All of that at once. It's hilarious. You're walking proof of everything they wish they were, but never committed to becoming. You're a mirror that exposes their excuses. You're a reminder that they settled for comfortable while you decided to step into chaos and call it home. They don't hate you. They hate that you showed them their limits. You make them feel small, not because you try to, but because your existence shines a light on how little they've done with theirs. You think this paranoia in the room is new? Nah, it's just louder now. People have always sensed something off about you, something sharp, something volatile, something that doesn't fit neatly inside the lines they drew for everyone else. You're the one people watch when you walk into a space. Not because you talk the loudest, but because you distort the air without lifting a finger. And, the moment you finally did something bold enough for them to see what they've always felt, boom, their brains short-circuited. Let them stare, let them panic, let them gasp like they just witnessed a glitch in the universe. Because deep down, you already know the truth about yourself. You're not here to blend in. You're not here to soothe anybody's insecurities. You're not here to act human just to make them feel safe. You're here to break patterns, to confuse the predictable, to disrupt the comfortable, to remind the world that some people aren't built for mediocrity. Some people are built for disruption. And every time you act on that part of yourself, the world around you shakes. And the people inside it stare like they've seen something they're not supposed to understand. Because they have. And you can feel that tension buzzing under your skin, right? That weird electricity in the air, like everyone's waiting for you to slip or speak or breathe wrong because they're trying to figure out if what they saw was a fluke or if that's just you. They're staring like you're a walking plot twist, like you're the part of the movie nobody warned them about, like they're low-key afraid you might do something else that bends the rules of whatever boring little reality they're clinging to. And you can hear the whispers even when nobody's talking. That's the wild part. You can feel people thinking about you. You can feel the way their eyes follow you, even when you're pretending to scroll your phone. You can feel that, what the hell is he? Energy drifting through the room like smoke. Because you didn't just surprise them, you exposed something they didn't want to admit. You're the kind of person who acts without waiting for permission. You're the kind of person who does eshait that shakes people awake. You're the kind of person who makes the whole environment glitch for a second. And they hate that they don't have a definition for someone like you. People love categories, neat little boxes, labels they can slap on others to feel like they're in control. But you cracked their labels open like cheap plastic. You walked in with that energy that says, "Don't try to measure me, you'll break your ruler." It's funny watching them pretend they're not intimidated. You see it, though. The jaw clenching, the fake smile, the sudden change in tone like they're trying to talk to you carefully, as if you're holding some invisible button that could flip the whole vibe. They act like you're unpredictable, but that's only because they've never seen someone who's in tune with their own power. You're not unpredictable. You're intentional. And people who aren't intentional get scared when they see someone who is. You moved a certain way, made a certain choice, took a certain step, and the way you did it said everything they didn't want to hear. That you're done shrinking, that you're done dimming your energy, that you're finally moving like the version of yourself you used to keep locked away because you didn't want to freak anyone out. But you freaked them out anyway, even at half strength, even while hesitating, even while saying, and pretending you're figuring things out as you go. They felt something real in the way you acted, something sharp, something raw, something that doesn't belong to someone who's trying to be liked or accepted or understood. And that's what's messing with them. You're not performing for them anymore. You're not explaining yourself. You're not shrinking your edges to make them comfortable. You're not asking whether you're allowed to be that powerful. You just were, effortlessly, naturally, accidentally even. And it scrambled their entire nervous system. You ever notice how people stare the hardest at the thing they can't control? That's you right now. You're the variable they can't predict, the move they didn't anticipate, the shift they didn't plan for. And it's kinda hilarious watching them try to reframe their entire perception of you in real time. Like, one moment they had you figured out, nice little template, easy to manage, and then, bam, you go and do some "no human should be able to do that" type shit. and now they're squinting like their whole worldview just got a virus. They're running mental diagnostics on you like, bro, is he even built like us? Trying to find evidence that you're normal, that you still fit into their expectations, that they didn't just witness something they can't explain at a dinner table later. Meanwhile, you're standing there with that calm, borderline bored expression, because deep down, you've always known this part of you existed. You've always known there was something in you that doesn't play by the same rules. Something heavy, something disruptive, something that doesn't wait for applause or permission slips. And everything is shifting around you. The energy, the weight of the room, the silent assumptions people had about you, all melting down because of one moment where you let the real version of yourself slip through the cracks. And, you can feel it, right? That new awareness settling on you like a spotlight you didn't ask for, but somehow feels accurate. Like you're finally being seen in a way that has nothing to do with validation and everything to do with the truth that's been sitting in your chest for years. You're not trying to be extraordinary. You're realizing you already are. And they're not staring because they're confused. They're staring because your existence just forced them to rethink what's possible, what's believable, what a human can be, all because you acted from a place they don't even know how to reach. And, you can almost feel them recalibrating around you, right? Like they're trying to update their internal software to handle whatever the hell you just revealed. It's wild. People act like they want to see greatness up close. But the second it's in the room, they start glitching like their brains weren't built for that level of intensity. And you're just standing there, breathing regular air, existing in your regular body, but somehow it feels like you're carrying this gravity that pulls the whole environment into a different shape. You didn't even raise your voice. You didn't have to. Your presence did the talking before you opened your mouth. They're still staring because they're trying to figure out the why. Why you moved that way. Why you reacted like someone who's seen things they haven't. Why you looked unfazed when everyone else froze. Why your instincts kicked in like you've been sharpened by something they can't name. And, that's the part that keeps eating at them. That sense that you're operating on a frequency they can't tune into. Not higher, not lower, just different. Like you've got access to some internal switch they've never found in themselves. They're analyzing every detail now, the way you tilt your head, the pauses you take, the silence you hold without getting nervous. People who don't understand themselves get uncomfortable around someone who does. People who don't trust their own instincts get spooked by someone who follows theirs without hesitation. You can tell they're intimidated because their behavior gets weird. Their tone changes, their laugh gets shaky, their eyes flicker like they're trying to look at you without really looking at you. They're studying you sideways, as if staring directly might unlock something they aren't ready to deal with. And, there's that part of you that's tempted to shrink again, blend in, dial it back, pretend you don't notice the tension sticking to you like static electricity. But you can't. Not anymore. Not after everything you've learned about yourself. You're realizing how long you've been hiding pieces of yourself just to keep the peace. You're realizing how often you've dimmed your reaction, your voice, your instincts, your talent, your edge, just to avoid moments exactly like this. Moments where everyone stares like you broke the rules of the universe. But, this time feels different, doesn't it? This time, it doesn't feel embarrassing or overwhelming. This time it feels right. like their shock is just confirmation of something you've been trying not to accept. You're not built like them. You never were. You make moves from a place that most people never tap into because they're terrified of what happens when they stop pretending to be average. You acted from instinct, pure, unfiltered instinct, and it came out looking like something no human should be able to do. And that scares the shot out of them, because they know it wasn't luck. They know it wasn't random. They know it wasn't a mistake. They know that if you did that once, even half distracted, even doubting yourself, even saying, halfway through your own thought, then you can do it again and again and again, whenever you feel like it. You're realizing that the version of you they thought they could predict is long gone. You stepped into something heavier, sharper, more aware, more dangerous in the best way. And you can feel that energy settling into your bones, that sense of, I'm not hiding this anymore. That quiet understanding that your presence isn't supposed to be comfortable for everyone. Your presence is supposed to shift people. Your presence is supposed to expose things. Your presence is supposed to make the room rethink its own rules. You can see it in their faces. You've crossed into a place where people stop looking at you as one of them and start looking at you as something they need to figure out, something they can't ignore, something they can't label, something they can't downgrade into normal, no matter how hard they try. And whether they admit it or not, they're waiting to see what you do next, because whatever you just did wasn't an accident and the whole room can feel it. And it's almost funny watching them act like they're going back to normal. But you can tell they're not. You can feel the whole atmosphere still tilted, like the room itself hasn't recovered from whatever you unleashed. People keep pretending they're focused on their phone, pretending they're having some deep conversation, pretending they're not replaying the exact moment you shifted the entire energy in front of them. But their eyes keep flicking back toward you. Their body language keeps giving them away. Their silence keeps stretching just a little too long. They're rattled, like someone shook their internal snow globe and all the pieces are still falling. And you can see it, not just in their faces, but in the way they're whispering with that scared, excited tone people get when they think they witnessed something they shouldn't have seen. They're studying you without knowing they're studying you. They're measuring you without knowing they're measuring you. They're rethinking every old assumption they had about who you were. You can almost hear their thoughts scraping around. Was that a fluke? Is that the real him? Has he been holding back? Bro, what else is he capable of? And the crazy part is, they're asking questions you don't even fully know the answers to yet. You're still discovering yourself, still peeling back layers, still figuring out what parts of you were instincts and what parts were evolution. But you felt it, didn't you? That moment where you acted without overthinking, without doubting, without shrinking. It was like something deeper than confidence took over. Something raw, something that felt ancient and familiar, even though you've barely tapped into it. It wasn't some random surge. It was something waking up in you, something stretching its limbs after being asleep way too long. People sense that before you even try to explain it. They feel when someone is stepping into a version of themselves they can't predict or control. And that's why they're staring like you're some rumor that suddenly became real. You're moving like someone who's not afraid of their own potential anymore. And that freaks people out more than anything. Not the action, not the moment, not the surprise. What freaks them out is the realization that you didn't hesitate. You didn't second guess. You didn't break. You moved like you knew exactly what you were doing, even if you didn't. That's the part that lodged itself under their skin. You ever watch people act normal after something life-altering happens? That's what's happening right now. They're trying to drag the room back to the version of reality they're comfortable with, but the moment you stepped into your power, that old reality cracked a little. They can't unsee it. They can't unfeel it. They can't go back to thinking you're predictable because you just showed them you're not. You're walking around like a glitch wrapped in skin, like someone who just unlocked a part of themselves that gives off a different kind of heat, a different kind of silence, a different kind of presence. And, that's the thing. They can sense the shift even if they don't have the language for it. They can tell that you're not operating from fear or insecurity or hesitation anymore. You're operating from something stronger, heavier, sharper, something that makes people instinctively straighten their posture when you walk by, something that makes them overthink their words around you, something that makes them feel like they're standing in front of someone who doesn't need their approval to exist. You can feel it too. That awareness sinking deeper into your bones. That pull in your chest, like you're aligning with a part of yourself you kept buried under other people's expectations. And, the air keeps shifting around you, because the world is reacting to your authenticity in real time. And half the people watching don't even understand why they're intimidated. They just know you're not the same person they thought you were. And you're not going back to that version either. And, you can feel how the whole room keeps adjusting itself around you. Like every second, they're recalculating who they thought you were versus who they're seeing right now. It's almost eerie, the way their energy keeps flickering. One moment curious, next moment nervous, next moment intimidated, like you pressed some hidden switch in their subconscious without even realizing it. You didn't shout. You didn't brag. You didn't walk in with some loud, dramatic entrance. You just existed differently. And that was enough to scramble their whole internal compass. People underestimate how powerful quiet evolution is. They think transformation should be loud, should be announced, should come with fireworks and motivational background music. But, the real shift, the real no human should do this, ishti. It always happens in silence first. You move a different way, you react a different way. You make a choice that the old version of you would have overthought for hours. You let your instinct lead instead of your fear. And suddenly, the room feels smaller, tighter, like everyone else is breathing heavier while you're breathing easier. That's the part they can't process. You're calm. Calm in a moment that would have rattled anybody else. Calm in a situation that should have broken you. Calm in a way that feels unnatural to people who only know panic disguised as productivity. And you can see it in the way they look at you. Your calm scares them more than your power does. Because calm means mastery. Calm means control. Calm means you're not reacting to the room. The room is reacting to you. They keep trying to place your reaction next to the version of you they had stored in their memory, and none of it matches anymore. It's like watching someone flip through a mental photo album and realizing every picture is outdated. You ever notice how people squint a little when their brain glitches? Yeah, that's what they're doing right now. Trying to line up the old image of you with what they just witnessed, and the pieces don't fit. The funniest part is that even you didn't fully expect that moment. Not like that. Not with that impact. Not with that level of clarity. ladies, gentlemen, and you, the one who finally stopped pretending. Yeah, I'm talking to you. The one sitting there trying to act chill while your whole chest is still vibrating from the mess you just stirred up. Dog, you really went there. And the funniest part? They ain't have the balls to respond. Not even a whisper, not even a fake cough, nothing. Just silence, thick enough to choke on. You walked into that room, with that energy you sometimes forget you have. That I'm done playing nice with people who weaponize silence energy. And you said the one thing everybody else tiptoed around. You cracked open the truth like it was nothing, like you weren't risking relationships, reputations, or the whole social hierarchy they built to keep you quiet. And they stared at you like you committed a crime against the script they all agreed to follow. But you didn't flinch. You didn't blink. You didn't apologize. Because deep down, you knew exactly what you were doing. You're done being the person who swallows their own voice just to keep other people comfortable. You're done being the emotional shock absorber for people who claim they didn't know, while knowing damn well what they were doing. You're done being the one who thinks before they speak, while the whole room speaks before they think. And the wild part? They thought they could punk you forever. They really believed you were gonna sit there nodding like some NPC background character while they played hero in their own story. They weren't expecting you to stand up, get real, and say that thing. That exact thing. The thing their conscience has been screaming at them for years, but they pretend they don't hear. And the moment you said it, you watched their souls glitch. Their eyes went wide, their posture collapsed, their breath caught like they just got hit with a spiritual subpoena. That's what happens when somebody finally calls out what the whole room is running from. That's what happens when you stop protecting the people who never protected you. That's what happens when you quit being scared of being too honest and start being terrified of being fake. You felt the shift, didn't you? That energy flip, that tiny crack in the social atmosphere, the way they suddenly didn't know how to sit, how to look at you, how to pretend everything was normal, because it wasn't. You broke the illusion. You didn't just expose them. You exposed the way they hide, their excuses, their little defense mechanisms, their rehearsed reactions, their fragile egos they disguise with sarcasm and performance confidence. You didn't even raise your voice. You just told the truth they hoped you'd die with. And the funniest, most animus morphosis-coded part of all of it, nobody said a damn thing back. Why? Because it's easy to talk ST when you assume the other person won't clap back. It's easy to act brave in a room full of cowards. It's easy to play victim when nobody challenges your version of events. But the moment you open your mouth, the moment you call out their hypocrisy point blank, they fold like wet cardboard. You watched their pride spill on the floor. You watched their fake confidence melt. You watched the entire room pick a side without saying a word. And guess what? They picked fear. Fear of you. Fear of confrontation. Fear of what else you might say if they try you again. You didn't just go there. You went places they don't even have the internal courage to visit alone in their own mind. You touched wounds they've been covering with convenience. You shattered the mask they spent years perfecting. You know what's really crazy? Half those people weren't even mad at what you said. They were mad that they didn't have the guts to say it first. Because deep down, they felt it too. Deep down, they knew you were right. Deep down, they knew they'd been avoiding that exact conversation because once it's said out loud, you can't unhear it. And you, with your tired heart, your unfiltered honesty, your fed-up patience. You were the only one who reached a point where staying quiet felt more dangerous than speaking up. That's power. That's real, unmanufactured, unpolished, raw nerve power. You're not messy. You're not doing too much. You're not starting drama. You're doing something they can't stomach. You're telling the truth without begging for permission. You don't need their validation. You don't need their applause. You don't need them to agree. Because when you spoke, they flinched. When you called it out, they panicked. When you exposed the dynamic, their entire blueprint fell apart. You ever notice how people who live on lies get exhausted when someone honest walks in the room? How their whole vibe deflates? How they suddenly get quiet, avoid eye contact, start fidgeting, start over-explaining? Yeah, that's what you did. You destabilized the entire ecosystem they built to protect their egos. You didn't just say something bold. You freed yourself from the version of you they could control. And, the world felt it. Every single person in that space felt that shift. The air got heavier. The truth hung between all of you like a giant neon sign nobody wanted to acknowledge. And you just stood there, calm, breathing normally, because your soul finally did what it's been begging you to do for years: stop shrinking. They ain't respond because responding requires self-reflection, and self-reflection requires courage, and courage requires a level of inner honesty they haven't even unlocked. They're still running from themselves while you've already dissected your past, faced your trauma, unpacked your mistakes, confronted your demons, and came out with receipts and clarity. You're not too much. You're exactly the right amount. They're just too little. And the silence they gave you, that wasn't disrespect. That was fear. Fear of you. Fear of truth. Fear of the fact that the next time you open your mouth, you might say even more. You didn't just speak. You shifted the entire hierarchy. You changed the vibe. You cracked the narrative. You exposed the weakness in people who pretend they're strong. And you did it with one line, one moment, one truth bomb they never saw coming. And they'll think about it all day, all week, maybe all year, because once someone like you stops holding back, nobody around you gets to hide anymore, and you could literally feel it. That weird little pulse running through the room right after you said it, like everybody's spirit dropped 3 floors underground. And you're standing there thinking, wait, that's it? No comeback, no slick little jab, no fake confidence. Just blank faces and tight throats, because you touched a nerve they've been guarding with their entire personality. And the wildest part is that you weren't even trying to violate anybody. You were just tired of the nonsense. You were tired of walking on emotional eggshells while everybody else stomped around like they owned the place. You were tired of being the bigger person in situations that required actual honesty, not silence disguised as maturity. You finally said something real, and because it came from you, it hit different. You know that feeling you get after you finally speak up, like your chest decompresses a little? You felt that, and they felt the opposite. Their chest tightened, their ego clenched, their whole facade trembled a tiny bit, because truth doesn't hit like an insult. It hits like a mirror, and nobody in that room was ready to see themselves without the filter. And, the way they stared at you afterward, that wasn't confusion, that was calculation. They were trying to figure out how long you've been noticing the things they pretend aren't happening. They were wondering if you've got more to say. They were terrified that if they breathe wrong, you'll expose another part of the performance. they've been acting out for way too long. You can always tell when someone's guilty by the way they avoid eye contact. You saw it, right? The way they suddenly looked at the floor, or at their phone, or at somebody's shoulder because looking you in the eyes would have cracked their entire identity. You didn't even raise your voice, but your presence alone turned the whole atmosphere into a courtroom that they weren't prepared to be on trial for. And the funniest thing, is that half of them wanted to say, "You're wrong," but they couldn't. Not because your words were too aggressive, but because they were too accurate, too specific. Too close to the truth, they've been ducking behind fake smiles and overplayed confidence. You know how powerful that makes you. Being the person who speaks with clarity in a world that runs on denial. Being the one who confronts reality while others build personalities around avoiding it. Being the one who's actually willing to check the vibe of a room instead of pretending everything's fine. And when you walked away, because you did, you had to. You could feel every single pair of eyes burning into your back, not in anger, but in shock. In respect they'll never admit. In fear of what else you might be capable of saying. Because the truth is, you didn't just call out a situation. You exposed a pattern, a system, a dynamic, a whole ecosystem of fake peacekeeping that's been rotting for years underneath the polite small talk. People get loud when they think you're weak. People get quiet when they realize you're not. You felt the shift in your own body too, didn't you? Like something unlocked. Like some dormant version of you finally stood up inside your chest and said, "Yeah, this is who I actually am." And that version of you doesn't flinch when people get uncomfortable. That version of you doesn't shrink because someone else feels threatened by your honesty. That version of you doesn't apologize for having a backbone and watching them scramble emotionally, trying to gather themselves after you spoke. You saw the insecurity slip out from under their fake confidence. You saw the real them, not the curated version, not the social mask, the raw, unprepared, exposed version that hopes nobody notices how fragile they actually are. You weren't supposed to be the one who went there. They assumed you'd stay quiet forever. They assumed you'd live your whole life softening your words for people who never softened their actions toward you. But life gets different the moment you stop negotiating your truth. Life gets different the moment you stop asking yourself, will this make them mad? And start asking, will staying quiet make me miserable? And that's the moment they realize something dangerous about you. You're not controlled by approval anymore. Their opinions don't chain you. Their reactions don't cage you. Their silence doesn't intimidate you. Their judgment doesn't define you. You became unpredictable to them the second you opened your mouth. Not in a chaotic way, in a real way. In a way that makes people sit up straighter around you. In a way that makes even the ones who talk the most become very, very careful. Because, once someone like you shows you're willing to speak, everyone else has to change how they move. They have to check the energy twice before they try you again. They have to rethink the way they handle you, because the old version they mistook for easy to manipulate doesn't exist anymore. And that silence after you spoke, oh, that silence was sacred. That silence was a confession. That silence was every ego in that room cracking just a little bit under the weight of reality. You felt their fear, their embarrassment, their shock, their irritation at being exposed without being yelled at. You felt the shift in the power dynamic, The way the room suddenly felt smaller because everyone realized you weren't afraid of the truth. And that energy is only getting stronger inside you. Because once you taste what it feels like to finally use your voice, you don't go back to swallowing words that burn holes in your throat. You don't go back to dimming yourself for people who can't handle the full brightness of who you actually are. You don't go back to being the version of yourself that made everyone else comfortable while draining the life out of you. You tapped into something real, something dangerous, something powerful, and everyone around you felt it. And it's kinda wild when you think about it, because, once that switch flips inside you, it's not just your voice that changes. It's your presence, the way you walk into a room, the way you sit, the way you breathe. People start watching you differently, like they're low-key waiting to see what you'll say next, because they realized you don't play by the unspoken rules anymore. You're not trapped in that keep the peace at your own expense mindset they depended on. And you could feel it? That slow ripple of anxiety crawling across their faces as they replay your words in their head, trying to figure out if you were talking about just one situation or if you've been clocking everything this whole time. That paranoia. That wasn't an accident. That was the truth doing what truth does, burning through every little lie, every little performance, every little moment they thought they got away with. The way they suddenly started acting nice. You saw that too. That awkward, shaky kindness that shows up when someone realizes you're no longer someone they can manipulate. They weren't being kind. They were being cautious. They weren't being respectful. They were being scared of what else you might call out. And you can always tell, right? You can always feel when someone's tone shifts because you changed, not because they grew. The ones who used to talk slick suddenly couldn't find anything clever to say. The ones who used to dominate conversations suddenly kept checking your reaction like they needed your approval to keep talking. The ones who thought you were soft suddenly started treating you like a loaded weapon. Because, when a person stops letting everyone walk over them, there's this quiet authority that forms in the room. A presence you can't fake. A kind of energy that makes insecure people shrink, even without you saying a word. And you didn't ask for that power. You just stopped giving it away. It's funny, because everyone thinks courage is loud, but the loudest people in that room said nothing back to you. Not a peep, not a twitch. They folded the moment they realized they couldn't twist your words or gaslight their way out of it. They just sat there hoping the tension would go away if nobody acknowledged it. But tension doesn't disappear when it's built on truth. It lingers, it sits with them, it follows them home. It crawls inside their thoughts at 3 a.m. when they're replaying every little thing you've ever noticed, and, you didn't just speak. You revealed capacity. The capacity to confront. The capacity to see. The capacity to cut through bullshit that everyone else tiptoes around. People don't get quiet because they're offended. People get quiet because they're exposed. They weren't shocked that you said it. They were shocked that you said it. The person they counted on to swallow their feelings, take the high road, and not make things uncomfortable. They built this whole version of you in their head, a version who'd never push back, never confront, never call them out. And then you shattered it with one line, and that's the part that scared them. Not the content, but the evolution. Once someone evolves in a direction others didn't prepare for, everyone who used to feed off their silence starts losing their balance. You could literally see some of them recalibrating mentally, like, oh, We can't treat them like that anymore. They're not saying it out loud, but the energy gave it away. You probably felt it lingering afterward too. That weird mixture of empowerment and adrenaline, like your spirit finally inhaled after years of holding its breath. Your heart wasn't racing from fear. It was racing from finally standing in your own honesty without flinching. And even though the room was silent, something inside you felt louder, fuller, more grounded than ever. You changed the dynamic without giving a speech, without yelling, without clapping back. Just by telling the truth they prayed you'd choke on. And you watched the whole atmosphere tilt in your direction. Not because you demanded power, but because you stopped giving away the power you already had. And that's the thing they don't want to admit. They always knew you were capable of this. They just hoped you'd never realize it. But you did. And that realization, that's when everything in their body language shifted. That's when the fear started. That's when your presence got heavy enough to distort the entire room's energy. And you can feel that shift happening in more places now. Not just in that moment. Every conversation feels different. Every interaction feels realer. Every room you walk into feels like it has to adjust to you instead of the other way around. Because once you tap into that version of yourself, the unfiltered one, the honest one, the one who refuses to be emotionally bullied into silence, you become a different kind of presence entirely. A presence people respect. A presence people fear. A presence people watch carefully. And that energy inside you? It's still rising. It's still unfolding. It's still expanding into something they won't be able to ignore at all. And it's kinda crazy because, you can feel people studying you now in ways they never did before. Not out of admiration, out of caution. Like they're trying to figure out what version of you they're dealing with. Because the old version, the quiet one, the one who swallowed everything, isn't the one standing in front of them anymore. And that uncertainty, that's shaking them in places they don't talk about. You ever notice how the ones who used to talk the biggest suddenly get real small around you? How the ones who used to throw shade suddenly can't maintain eye contact? How the ones who used to crack jokes at your expense suddenly laugh a little too softly, like they're scared the wrong joke might set off another truth bomb. They're not scared of you being mean. They're scared of you being accurate again. Scared you'll peel back another layer they've been taping together with denial and half-truths. Scared you'll point out something they've been hiding behind humor or confidence or that fake chill persona they use to cover the fact that their ego bruises like fruit. And you can feel their fear. You can feel the tension when you walk in, like the atmosphere dips and nobody knows where to put their hands or their eyes. That's what happens when someone realizes you're not the one they can dump their emotional garbage on anymore. You're not the sponge. You're not the soft landing. You're not the safe punching bag they depended on. You became the person who can actually see them, not the version they show the world, the real one. And people who've built their identity on performance don't know what to do when they're finally seen. And look at how they act in around you now. You'll catch them over-explaining, trying too hard, editing their stories in real time, making sure they don't contradict themselves, because they know you pay attention. You always paid attention. You just finally let it show. You didn't get scarier. They just realized you'd been smarter than them the whole time. And watching someone process that realization in real time, man, it's wild. Hey, Yeah, you come here for a sec, friend. Because after what you just pulled off, I think you deserve someone to actually look you in the eye and say it straight. Do you even realize what you did out there? Do you even understand why everybody's talking like they just witnessed some glitch in the simulation? Why folks are side-eyeing you like, bro, are they even human after that? You walked into a moment that was supposed to swallow you whole, and instead you broke it open like it was made of paper mache. You didn't just survive. You didn't just push through. You shifted the entire atmosphere with one move. And the funniest part? You weren't even trying to be impressive. You were just being you, raw. Unapologetically, I don't need permission energy. That's the part they can't wrap their heads around. See, people spend years building personalities that look good on the outside. Smooth, shiny, presentable, like something they bought off an Instagram carousel. But you walked in with that vibe that says, yeah, I might glitch your entire worldview today. Brace yourself. And boom, now the whole room is whispering, panicking, fascinated, like they just saw a myth get up and stretch its legs. Because what you did, it wasn't normal. And I mean that in the best way possible. You didn't choose the safe route. You didn't settle for the predictable. You did something so honest, so raw, so real. It scared people who've forgotten what authenticity even feels like. And trust me, they felt it. Oh, they felt it. There's this moment, right after someone like you steps into their power, where the crowd doesn't know whether to applaud or run. And that's where they are right now. Frozen, confused, eyes darting between each other like, did you see that? Am I tripping or did something just shift? Because you didn't just take action. You sent a message that echoed way louder than you intended. I'm not here to play by your little rules. You hit them with a level of presence that people spend their whole lives avoiding. You showed them what it looks like when someone finally stops asking for permission to exist fully. You showed them what it looks like when someone stops dialing themselves down to make everybody else comfortable. And the world reacts to that. It always does. You ever notice how people get real scared when someone stops shrinking? Like suddenly you're a walking reminder of everything they could have been. If they had just stopped hesitating, stopped apologizing, so stopped hiding. You walked in with that vibe that says, yeah, I'm done pretending. And when that moment hit, the whole room felt their own masks slipping just a bit. People don't know how to process real anymore. Real is dangerous. Real is unpredictable. Real forces them to look in the mirror and ask, why am I still holding back while that person just went nuclear in broad daylight? But you didn't hold back. You went all in. And the second you did, the noise started. Everyone's talking. Of course they are. That's what they do when they witness something that doesn't fit into their boring little categories. Nobody can tell if you're human. Good. Humans have been disappointing lately. What was that? That was you. The real you. The you that's been hiding under layers of doubt, guilt, overthinking, self-censoring, and let me not be too much. The you that decided enough and stepped into a moment like it owed you rent money. You think greatness looks polished. No, it looks messy, chaotic, unpredictable. It looks like you walking into a situation and ripping the narrative straight out of everyone's hands. People felt the shift. They felt the energy you brought. The kind of energy that doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door open and makes everyone sit up straight. And, let's be real for a second. You didn't get here by accident. You've been carrying that storm inside you for a long time. You've been waiting for a moment that demanded something bigger from you. And when it finally came, you didn't flinch, you didn't freeze, you didn't fold. You did the thing they all swore you weren't ready for. And now they're stuck in the aftermath of your courage, trying to make sense of it. Because they want to label you, but the words don't fit. They want to predict you, but you keep rewriting the script. They want to define you, but how do you define someone who keeps breaking the mold every time they move? You scare them in the most delicious way. Not because you're loud or wild or reckless, but because you're awake. Because you're moving with intention now. Because you're not second-guessing that fire anymore. Because you've stopped trying to fit into a world that was never built for someone like you. And that's what they can't handle. Not the act itself. Not the moment. Not the outcome. It's the fact that you didn't hesitate. It's the fact that you stepped into your own magnitude like it was the most natural thing in the world. It's the fact that you're done playing small and they can feel it radiating off you like heat. And let me tell you this, just between you and me, once you cross that line, once you unleash that version of yourself, there's no going back. Because the craziest part is, once that version of you steps forward, it doesn't tuck itself back in just because people look uncomfortable. That energy stays, it lingers, it follows you into every room like a shadow that finally got tired of being ignored. And you can feel it, can't you? That shift inside your chest, that low, steady hum like something powerful finally woke up after years of being told to sit quietly in the corner. Yeah, that's the real you stretching, cracking its knuckles, testing the air. People around you, they're sensing it before you even open your mouth, like they're watching you the way people watch a lit fuse, leaning in, but also kinda stepping back because they don't know which direction the blast is coming from. They feel your presence before you even speak now. It hits them that I've been underestimated long enough, aura wrapping around you like armor. And that's the thing that's tripping everybody out. Not the one moment you had, but the way you're carrying yourself afterward. You're different. Not in a new haircut or fresh start kind of way. Different in that deep, unsettling way where people look at you and go, wait, when did they outgrow all our expectations? Because they thought they had you figured out. They really did. They put you in this tiny, predictable box labeled safe, manageable, unthreatening. And you stepped out of it like it wasn't even locked. That's why they're whispering. That's why they're replaying everything you did, like it's some footage they're trying to analyze frame by frame. They're searching for a clue, a crack, a moment where you hesitated, but you didn't. You moved like someone who's finally tired of doubting yourself, tired of carrying other people's insecurities, tired of dimming your own damn light because someone else couldn't handle the glare. And once someone reaches that level of tired, that fed up, spine-straightening, chest-opening kind of tired, there's nothing more dangerous. Because a person who has nothing left to lose is wild, yeah, but a person who realizes they never needed permission in the first place, that's a whole different beast. You can see it in your posture now, your eyes. That way you breathe like the air tastes different today. You ever notice how people get real quiet when someone steps into a version of themselves that's too big to ignore? That's you right now. You're the silence they don't know how to interpret. And the wild thing is, you don't even have to do anything dramatic anymore. just existing with this new level of certainty makes people look at you like you're breaking some unspoken rule. Like, wait, they're not overthinking? They're not doubting? They're not backing down? What's going on? That's the question bouncing around in everyone's head. Not what you did, but what it means. Because deep down, they're scared you're just getting started. That the moment they saw was just the trailer, not the full movie. That you've got more inside you that you haven't even shown yet. And, you can feel that too, can't you? That pull in your gut, that sense that something bigger is unfolding. Not some mystical prophecy or whatever. Just the real-world truth that you're operating on a different frequency now. You're moving with intention you didn't have before. With awareness. With this quiet kind of power that doesn't need noise to announce itself. People don't know how to navigate someone who's finally aligned with their own strength. They keep waiting for you to slip back into your old self. The version of you that hesitated, held back, apologized for things you didn't even do. But that version doesn't fit anymore. It feels like a shirt you outgrew years ago, but kept around out of habit. You try to put it on, and it just doesn't sit right. Everything that once made you shrink feels foreign now. You speak differently, walk differently, think differently. And trust me, you're not imagining it. People are noticing every tiny shift. They're noticing the way you don't break eye contact anymore. The way you say what you mean without padding it with softness just to make someone else feel okay. The way your silence carries weight instead of insecurity. You're not becoming someone else. You're becoming the person you've been suppressing, the version of you that's been pacing behind your ribs for years, waiting for a chance to take over the wheel. And, once that version takes the front seat, everything changes around you, even when you haven't touched a thing. People treat you differently, not always with kindness, but definitely with caution, with curiosity, with that weird mix of admiration and fear people get when they're watching someone evolve faster than they expected. And whether they admit it or not, everyone can feel it. That this moment wasn't just a spark. It was the start of something that's still building, still rising, still gathering force in ways even you haven't fully recognized yet. And the wildest part is, you can feel it building in real time. Like this slow internal rumble that keeps getting louder no matter how much you try to play it cool. It's like, your own spirit is tapping you on the shoulder going, yeah, this is us now. Get used to it. And the people around you. They're watching that shift the way people watch a storm forming over the city. Nobody knows how big it's gonna get, but everybody knows they should probably get out of the way. There's this tension in the air when you walk into a space now. Not a bad tension, just that electric, something's happening here kind of vibe. You know what's crazy? You're not even trying to be intimidating. You're not putting on a show. You're not putting extra sauce on your presence. You're not performing. You're just you, with the filters removed. And, that's what actually throws everyone off. Most people are performing versions of themselves that they hope will be accepted. They trim off the edges, tone down the fire, shrink the ambition, hide the hunger. You're done with that. And stepping into that unfiltered version of you is like stepping onto a stage you didn't even know you built. People are staring not because you're acting different, but because you're acting real in a world where everybody else is acting scared. And real hits harder than anything. You ever notice how conversations shift when you speak now? Like people actually stop talking to hear you. They don't interrupt. They don't talk over you. They don't brush off your ideas. Your voice carries in a way it didn't before, not because it got louder, but because it got rooted. Rooted in conviction, rooted in experience, rooted in that, I've been quiet too long and I'm done doing that to myself. Energy. And they feel it in your silence too. The pauses, the way you take a breath before speaking, that steady patience like you're not rushing for anybody's comfort anymore. There's something powerful about someone who stops rushing, someone who doesn't scramble for approval, someone who walks into a moment and says without saying, I know who I am. That's the part that's hitting people in the chest, that quiet certainty, that unshakable presence. You're carrying yourself like someone who finally understands their own value. Not inflated ego, not delusion, just real, grounded worth that doesn't need external validation to feel true. And it's wild how people will react to that. Some get inspired, some get intimidated, some get confused, some get jealous without even realizing it. Some get protective, like they suddenly understand they're witnessing someone stepping into a rare version of themselves. And, the energy around you shifts with all those reactions swirling together. You're becoming this point of gravity that pulls attention without asking for it. It's not magic. It's not luck. It's alignment. Alignment with who you're supposed to be, who you've always been under the noise, under the hesitation, under the self-doubt, under the play-it-safe scripts you inherited from people who never stepped into their own potential. And the more aligned you get, the sharper everything becomes. Your instincts, your insight, your gut feeling, your ability to read people without effort, your ability to move with clarity instead of anxiety. It's like your life finally stopped lagging. Your system updated, your signal got stronger, your vision got clearer, and people can feel that clarity radiating from you. It unsettles them because it exposes what they've been avoiding. It inspires them because it shows what's possible when someone stops folding. You're walking with a rhythm that doesn't match the environment you came from. You outgrew the frequency without even announcing it. That's why everything feels different around you. That's why they're looking at you like they don't recognize the timeline anymore. That's why the whispers keep multiplying behind your back. And in your absence, that's why your presence feels like a question people aren't sure they want the answer to. And the thing that really hits different is how people start adjusting themselves around you without even realizing they're doing it. Like, 1 minute they're acting regular, the next minute they're double-checking their tone, watching their words, fixing their posture when you walk in. Not because you're demanding respect, but because your energy quietly sets a higher standard. It's like you started operating on a frequency their old version of you never occupied, and they're scrambling to catch up without looking like they're scrambling. You can see it in their eyes, that quick calculation they do like they're trying to understand what changed, trying to figure out when you stopped being predictable, trying to decode your new rhythm like it's a language they never learned. And it's funny because even you can feel that shift in real time. You move through spaces differently. You're more aware of yourself, but not in an insecure way. More like you finally understand the weight you carry. You're not tiptoeing anymore. You're not shrinking your voice. You're not watering yourself down to fit places that were never meant to contain you. You walk into a room, and people sense the difference before you say a single word. Your silence has shape to it. Your presence has density. Your aura feels like it's got edges now, sharp ones. The kind that make people think twice before bringing nonsense to your doorstep. And, as wild as it sounds, you're not even trying to project anything. You're not out here saying, "Look at me, I've changed." You're just existing in a state of alignment that's louder than any announcement you could make. People don't know how to handle someone who stops apologizing for existing. You can see the confusion in their reactions. They're used to you being accessible, predictable, easy to read. They're not used to this version. The version who speaks with intention, who moves with clarity, who thinks with depth, who doesn't flinch at pressure anymore. And the more you step into that identity, the more the environment starts revealing itself. You start noticing who's genuinely rooting for you and who's just quietly uncomfortable with the fact that they can't categorize you anymore. You notice who leans in when you talk and who leans back because your truth hits too close to home. You notice who's inspired and who's intimidated, who's proud and who's threatened, who's happy for you and who's studying you like you're a problem they're trying to solve. You can really feel the separation forming, not because you're pulling away, but because your growth is creating a natural distance. People who used to walk beside you without effort are suddenly out of sync. Their doubts feel louder, their excuses feel heavier, their comfort zones feel smaller, and your soul is just not fitting in those old dynamics anymore. You're noticing the contrast. You're noticing how your conversations have shifted, how you can't tolerate small thinking the way you used to, how you can't pretend you don't feel the calling inside you, how you can't act like you're not evolving when every part of your being is screaming that you are. And deep down, you know this isn't a phase. It's not a mood swing. It's not an aesthetic shift. It's not some temporary rush from a single moment. It's you stepping into a self you've been avoiding because it felt too big, too loud, too intense for the world around you. But now that you've tasted that power, you can't unfeel it. You're walking with a kind of gravity. People can't ignore a kind of presence that rearranges atmospheres, a kind of confidence that doesn't need volume, a kind of authenticity that makes masks fall off around you. And every step you take in this new alignment keeps widening the gap between who you were told to be and who you actually are, and the world is reacting to that shift in real time, and they're whispering, and they're watching, and they're questioning, and they're wondering what version of you is coming next. And the funny thing is, even you don't fully know what version of you is coming next, and that mystery you're carrying, people can feel it leaking through every move you make. It's like there's this quiet tension around you, not the stressful kind, but the something is about to evolve again kind. You've become unpredictable in the best way possible. Not chaotic, not reckless, just uncaged. There's this awareness settling into your bones, this understanding that you're not operating from fear or insecurity anymore. You're operating from clarity, from intention, from this real-world grounded sense of self that doesn't waver when somebody doubts you or misunderstands you. And that level of steadiness, people notice it way faster than you think. They notice how you respond differently to things that used to trigger you. They notice how you don't jump to defend yourself anymore. They notice how you don't chase people for validation. They notice how you don't shrink when the room gets tense. It's like you learned how to breathe in situations that used to knock the air out of your lungs. And, that kind of emotional evolution hits people harder than any dramatic gesture ever could. Because it's subtle, but it's loud, soft, but it's powerful, silent, but it's undeniable. You're starting to realize you don't need to match anyone's chaos. You don't need to argue to prove your point. Well, look at you, huh? Yeah, you. You sitting there trying to act like you didn't just flip the whole script with one damn decision. Let me talk to you directly for a second. You don't even realize what you did, do you? You made that one choice, that one moment where you trusted your gut, your pain, your past, your fire. And boom, suddenly you're not just participating anymore. You're the one everybody's subconsciously checking before they move. You're the one they whisper about before they speak out loud. You're the fucking reference point now. And you're still sitting there trying to stay humble, trying to not make noise, trying to be polite. Man, please. You didn't claw your way through betrayal, pressure, fake love, and silent wars just to shrink right when you finally became the one sitting at the top of the damn table. You know what's funny? People act like power comes from status or money or some fancy title. Nah. Power comes from that one insane choice you made when nobody believed in you, when nobody clapped, when nobody gave a damn. That choice you made when your hands were shaking, when your heart was racing, when you doubted yourself but still pushed through. That choice is why you're here. And, let's be real for a second. They didn't expect you to get this far. They were comfortable with you being the underdog, the quiet one, the one who keeps everything together while breaking on the inside. They liked that version of you. It made them feel safe. It made them feel like they were ahead. But then you went and made that fucking choice. That choice that didn't make sense to them. That choice that came from that dark, private part of you that's been storing every scar, every disappointment, every backhanded comment, every time someone underestimated you. You took all of that and turned it into a decision that changed the whole dynamic. Now look at you, sitting at the top of the damn table, and they don't know how to act. They're confused, they're uncomfortable, they're threatened. They're trying to figure out how the hell you went from one of them to the one above them so fast. They're trying to reverse engineer your mindset like you're some secret glitch in the system. They're studying your tone, your moves, your silence, your reactions, your wins. They're checking your social media like it's a surveillance camera. They're monitoring your every step like you're the stock market. Because that one choice, yeah, it broke their version of reality. And here's the part they'll never admit. Deep down, they always knew you had it in you. They saw the potential before you did. They saw the hunger, the grit, the way you think differently. They just hoped you'd never wake up to it. They never wanted you to realize you were built for more. And I mean way more than they were comfortable with. But you did. You woke up. You snapped. You chose yourself. You made the kind of choice that only people with real backbone make. The kind of choice that separates leaders from followers. The kind of choice that makes people either salute you or hate you. And oh man, they chose hate. Real fucking quick, didn't they? But you know what? Hate is just fear wearing a hoodie. They're terrified of what you might do next. And, let me break this down because I know you sometimes forget who the hell you are. That choice you made, it came from a place they don't have access to. They don't know what it feels like to carry yourself through storms you never told anyone about. They don't know what it feels like to push forward when every part of you wanted to quit. They don't know what it feels like to rebuild yourself quietly, privately, while still showing up like nothing's wrong. They don't know your process. They just see the results. They don't know about the nights you stayed up, replaying every failure, every mistake, every heartbreak. They don't know about the days you felt like the world was moving without you, like everybody else was winning except you. They don't know about the prayers you whispered, the tears you swallowed, the rage you buried, the discipline you forced even when you were mentally done. But that choice you made, it came from all of that. Everything you survived became fuel. Everything that broke you became data. Everything they underestimated became your edge. And suddenly, you weren't just surviving anymore. You were calculating. You were growing. You were aligning. You were leveling up in silence. And then, one day, you made that call, that choice, that moment that changed your whole trajectory. Now you're the one setting the temperature. You're the one influencing the room. You're the one people check before they move. You're the one whose absence feels like disrespect. You're the one whose presence feels like pressure. You're the one whose name lives rent-free in rooms you've never even walked into. And, listen, people hate when someone evolves out of the version they got comfortable controlling. When you stop being predictable, you stop being safe in their story. When you stop being small, you stop being convenient. And when you make a choice that prioritizes your future over their comfort, they start calling you selfish. But you're not selfish. You're awake. You finally realized you're not meant to sit at the side of the table waiting for permission. You're meant to sit at the head of it. You're meant to make decisions, not just follow them. You're meant to shake up the room, not blend into it. You're meant to disrupt systems, not be trapped inside them. You're meant to intimidate a little. You're meant to make people wonder, how the hell did they pull that off? You're meant to make them nervous. You're meant to make them rethink everything they said about you. You're meant to make them regret ever betting against you. And hey, don't downplay it. Don't shrug it off. Don't pretend you didn't earn this. You did. You earned every inch of this seat, every inch of this authority, every inch of this new version of you that scares them. You didn't get lucky. You didn't fall into it. You chose it. That choice you made, it wasn't random. It was the moment you finally stopped living for validation and started living for your purpose. It was the moment you stopped waiting for someone to save you and decided to save yourself. It was the moment you stopped reacting to life and started directing it. You stepped into your own damn power, like you were built for it since day one. And now here you are, sitting at the top of the table, not because they put you there, but because you claimed the seat they hoped you'd never even look at. And, you know what the funniest part is? You're just getting started. And, the wild part is you don't even feel the full weight of it yet. You're still adjusting to this new version of you like someone who bought a bigger pair of shoes and hasn't realized they fit perfectly. You keep thinking you're not ready or not that person yet. But everybody around you already clocked it. They already see you as the one calling the shots, even if you're still getting used to your own voice. And you know what hits different, the way people's energy changes around you. It's subtle, but it's real. People who used to joke with you a little too comfortably suddenly switch up. They watch their words. They watch your face when they talk. They watch the tone you answer with. It's like you became the emotional thermostat in the room without even trying. And, you can feel it too. You can feel the shift in the way people approach you, how they second-guess themselves, how they look at you before they speak, how they ask instead of assume. That's not an accident. That's the ripple effect of that one choice you made. It's funny how one decision exposes everybody's real motives. You start seeing who wanted you small, who wanted you dependent, who wanted you quiet. You start noticing who only liked you when you didn't pose a threat. You start catching how their voice cracks a little when they realize you're not the same version of yourself they could manipulate with guilt or fear. And that moment is kinda crazy because it shows you that your growth wasn't the problem. Their comfort was. And yeah, it stings a bit when you see people you cared about get uncomfortable watching you evolve. You get that little pinch in your chest like, damn, I thought you'd be happy for me. But nah, some people only cheer when you're predictable, when you're easy to read, when your success doesn't outshine their excuses. The minute you step into a higher version of yourself, they start acting like you betrayed them, when really, you just stopped betraying yourself. And the thing is, you didn't even do anything outrageous. You just made a choice that aligned with your future instead of your fear. That's it, a simple shift. But that shift came from deep, deep life experience. The kind you don't talk about out loud. The kind you carry in your shoulders and your silence. The kind that turned you into someone who doesn't break easily anymore. And that scares people, man. People get real nervous around someone who's been through hell and came back smarter instead of bitter. You ever notice how people start treating you like you're different when all you did was stop tolerating disrespect? When you finally stop being the one doing all the emotional labor? When you stop letting people drain you? They start whispering, they start getting defensive, they start acting like you're difficult or cold or changed. But the truth is you didn't change. You just finally enforced the boundaries that were supposed to be there from day one. And there's another layer to this. The internal shift you feel. That quiet confidence that scares even you a little. That sense of, wait, am I actually built for this? And, yes, you are. You wouldn't even be here if you weren't. You wouldn't have survived half the sheshti you came from if you weren't wired for big decisions, big roles, big responsibility. You've carried more on your back at your lowest than most people carry at their highest. You've been holding the weight for everybody else for years. Stepping into leadership isn't new to you. It's just finally on your terms. You've always been the backbone in situations where other people folded. You've always been the one who keeps going even when you're exhausted. You've always been the one who thinks 5 steps ahead without announcing it. You've always been the one who notices everything. The patterns, the lies, the micro shifts in people's tone. You've always had this edge. That choice you made, it didn't create the leader in you, it just exposed it. And here's something most people will never admit out loud. It's lonely at the top of the table, but not in the sad way people imagine. It's lonely because you finally understand that not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone can sit close to your vision. Not everyone has the capacity to walk with you into the future you're building. And you're realizing that giving everyone access was the thing holding you back. You're noticing how quiet your life gets when you stop over-explaining yourself. You're noticing how peaceful your mind gets when you stop trying to babysit other people's insecurities. You're noticing how much energy you reclaim when you stop entertaining people who only show up when they need something. That silence, that space, that's where your power grows. And at the top of the table, your voice hits different. Not because it's louder, but because it carries weight. When you speak, people listen. When you pause, people wonder what you're thinking. When you change direction, the whole atmosphere shifts. That kind of influence doesn't come from ego. It comes from surviving things that would have destroyed someone with less substance. And you know what else? You're not even fully using your power yet. You're still operating at maybe, 60% of your potential. And even at that level, you're shaking the room. You're disrupting dynamics that have been in place for years. You're forcing people to look at themselves. You're forcing people to level up or fall back. That's what real leadership does. It exposes everything that was pretending to be solid. You're realizing that the top of the table isn't about control. It's about clarity. It's about seeing the whole board. It's about understanding the game better than the people who tried to keep you out of it. It's about directing energy instead of absorbing it. And you're doing it naturally, instinctively, from a place of lived experience, not theory. And it's hitting you that you don't need validation anymore. You don't need applause. You don't need reassurance. You don't need someone to tell you you're doing great. You don't need the crowd to agree. You don't even need everyone to like you. The only thing you need is alignment. And that's exactly what that choice gave you. And you're sitting there at the top of the table, not because you forced your way in, but because you finally stopped shrinking your way out. And the craziest part is you still underestimate how much you've shifted the whole dynamic just by existing in this upgraded version of yourself. You keep thinking it's subtle, like only you feel the change. But everybody around you is reacting to it, whether they admit it or not. People's body language, their tone, the way they suddenly avoid certain topics around you. All of that is evidence that your presence carries a different gravity now. And it's wild because you're not even trying to project anything. You're not walking around bragging. You're not flexing. You're not throwing your weight around. You're just being you. But the healed, self-aware, self-respecting, self-prioritizing version. And that version of you hits way harder than the one who used to deal with everybody's mess. You can tell you've stepped into something bigger because people start giving you those long pauses before they answer. You know the ones where they're low-key, calculating how honest they can be without exposing themselves, where they're checking if their old tactics still work on you, where they're scanning your expression to see if you caught what they didn't say out loud. They used to talk freely around you because you were predictable to them. But once you made that choice, that unpredictability became your power. And here's something that stings a bit. The conversations changed. The tone changed. Some people don't joke the same with you anymore. Some don't vent to you like they used to. Some don't treat you like their emotional trash can anymore. At first you're like, did I do something wrong? But then you realize you didn't lose anything. You just stopped being accessible to people who only valued you when you didn't value yourself enough. That's the real shift. That's the real upgrade. Once you made that choice, your energy became too expensive for certain people's behavior. You stopped entertaining chaos you didn't create. You stopped babysitting grown adults' insecurities. You stopped trying to be everything for everybody at the expense of your sanity. And, that's when you stepped into your seat at the top of the table without even announcing it. And it's funny, being at the top doesn't mean being above people. It means being above the version of yourself that settled. Being above the mindset that told you to be quiet. to stay small, to be grateful for crumbs. It means you finally learned how to choose yourself without apologizing for it. And that's what destabilizes people who are comfortable with you doubting your own worth. You start noticing how their tone changes when you're speaking, how they don't interrupt you like they used to, how they don't dismiss your ideas so quickly, how they don't laugh off your ambitions anymore. It's not because you became scary, it's because you became undeniable. That choice you made exposed how much you were underselling yourself this whole time. And, here's the part you probably don't admit out loud. It feels kinda strange, right? Like you've stepped into a position you always felt somewhere deep inside, but never claimed. That internal, I know I'm meant for more, feeling that you suppressed out of fear of being too much, too confident, too ambitious. That voice is louder now. That voice is clearer. That voice is finally leading you instead of hiding in the back of your mind. You're learning that leadership isn't loud. It's steady. It's the calm you bring into chaos. It's the way you handle pressure without collapsing. It's the way you move with intention, even when you're unsure. It's the way you stay grounded when everything around you is unstable. You've always had that. You just didn't have the self-respect to own it. It's almost funny how the people who used to overlook you are now the ones watching your every step like they're waiting for clues. You don't even move the same anymore. You're not rushing. You're not over-explaining. You're not chasing. You're not trying to convince anyone of anything. Your silence alone communicates what entire speeches used to fail to deliver. That silence of yours, it became a weapon, a boundary, a filter, a message. You stopped giving people the version of you that constantly accommodated their comfort, and you started giving them the version of you that stands on truth. Not everybody can handle that. Not everybody wants to. And while you're sitting at the top of the table, you're starting to realize that the game isn't about who claps for you or who talks about you. It's about who respects you even when they don't like you. It's about who adjusts their tone when they speak to you. It's about who steps carefully because they know you don't tolerate the old dynamics anymore. That's the part they feel the most. The loss of access, not the loss of you. And the wildest part? You haven't even unleashed your full capacity yet. You're still growing into this position. You're still figuring out how much your voice matters. You're still discovering parts of yourself that were buried under years of self-doubt and overthinking. You're still peeling back layers you didn't know were suffocating you. You're still realizing how much power you gain every time you honor yourself. And, you're learning that you don't need permission to dominate your own life. You don't need approval to take the lead. You don't need anyone to co-sign your growth. You don't need anyone to validate the seat you earned.